Welcome to Space Evening. Now, we're going to start the evening with a very special guest.
Good evening, all. I appreciate your president having made me an honorary visiting professor, and I will assure you that my first lecture will be very brief. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm particularly delighted to be here on this occasion. We meet at a college noted for knowledge, in a city noted for progress, in a state noted for strength, and we stand in need of all three. For we meet in an hour of change and challenge, in a decade of hope and fear, in an age of both knowledge and ignorance. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. Despite the striking fact that most of the scientists that this world have ever known are alive, despite the fact that this nation's own scientific manpower is double in working today, despite the fact that every 12 years in a rate of growth in 3 times of our population as a whole, that space is far outstripped our collective comprehension. No man can fully grasp how far and how fast we have come, but condense, if you will, the 50,000 years of man's recorded history in a time span of but half a century. Stated in these terms, we know very little about the first 40 years, except at the end of them, advanced man had learned to use the skins of animals to cover them. Then, about 10 years ago, under his standard, man emerged from his cave to construct other kinds of shelters. Only 5 years ago, man learned to write and use a cart with wheels. Christianity began less than 2 years ago. The printing press came this year, and then less than 2 months ago, during this whole 50-year span of humanity, the steam engine provided a new source of power. Newton explored the meaning of gravity. Last month, electric lights and telephones and automobiles and airplanes became available. Only last week did we develop penicillin and television and nuclear power. And now, if America's new spacecraft succeeds in reaching Venus, we will have literally reached the stars before midnight tonight. This is a breathtaking pace. And such a pace cannot help but provide a new source of power, but create new ills as it dispels all. New ignorance, new problems, new dangers. Surely the opening of vistas of space promise high costs and hardships, as well as high reward. So it is not surprising that some would have us stay where we are a little longer to rest, to wait. That this city of Houston, this state of Texas, this country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested and wished to look behind them. This country was conquered by those who moved forward, and so will space. William Bradford, speaking in 1630 of the founding of Plymouth Bay Colony, said that all great and honorable actions are accompanied with great difficulties, and both must be enterprised and overcome with answerable courage. If this capsule of history or progress teaches us anything, it is that man, in his quest for knowledge and progress, is determined and cannot be deterred. The exploration of space will go ahead, whether we join it or not, and it is one of the great adventures of all time, and no nation, which experts to be the leader of other nations, can expect to stay behind in the race for space. Those who came before us made certain that this country rode the first waves of the Industrial Revolution, the first waves of modern invention, and the first waves of nuclear power. And this generation does not intend to founder in the backwash of the coming age of space. We mean to be a part of it. We mean to lead it. The eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. And we have vowed that we shall not see it governed by a hostile flag of conquest, but by a banner of freedom and peace. We vow that we shall not see space filled with weapons of mass destruction, but with instruments of knowledge and understanding. Yet the vows of this nation can only be fulfilled if we in this nation are first, and therefore we intend to be first. In short, our leadership in science and in industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for good, all men, and to become the world's leading spacefaring nation. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our god? And may well ask, why the climb highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win.
The beautiful light, the glistening traveller, the invited guest. A wonderful sight, the light and dark artifact, the fading danger. The night was darkness, but a light came from nowhere as the sun crashed. Like a convex eye, it peeks into my vast room. The moon is eerie.
It's full of craters, copying our every move, floating around. Our little brother pretends to be nocturnal, staying up all night.
this grey sphere lays hefty, hollow, gaping holes on this bizarre moon. From my room I see a little misunderstood, bobbling, bumpy sphere.
In the dead of night, the moon shines among the stars in the dark places. Lighted by the sun, the moon is under the clouds, glimmering brightly.
Best friends. Armstrong, fighting like a boxer for glory. The moon in water, seeking for Dory. The moon being forced to stay next to Earth. The moon, 1,000 years, recovering from rebirth. The moon is the sun's mirror, blocking out the light, making it even dimmer. The moon is an ice cream that is coated with blackness. The moon needs a friend, and now he's crying with sadness. The moon is fading like a magic recipe. He needs to say, the earth is heavenly. He liked him so, and he did not want to go. But the moon will always, always be further apart.
Moon by Miss Goldish. Are you lonely, Moon? You giant white balloon. You have no water, wind or air. No wonder nothing lives up there. You can't grow trees or flowers or grass. Your soil is only rocks and glass. Even your light is not your own. Instead it's from the sun that shone. Your gravity is weak, I hear. You really have no atmosphere. But don't be sad, Moon. Please don't cry, for I still love you in the sky.
Child astronaut Buzz Aldrin got a standing ovation last night when he made a rare appearance at the Super Bowl. And Al, you had the chance to sit down with him recently at the Kennedy Space Center.
It was a real honor inside the Apollo Saturn V Center. Buzz told me that while his Milwaukee days are behind him, he now hopes to see people on Mars. The launch pad very much like this.
You bet. Yeah.
You took off on it.
I do get it, sort of.
What was it like when you're lifting off from a launch pad like this?
There was not a sensation of leaving the ground. Really?
July 20th, 1969. Astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin become the first two humans to set foot on another world.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
600 million people, the largest television audience of that time, tuned into NASA's historic Apollo 11 moonwalk.
Magnificent desolation.
Beautiful, beautiful, magnificent desolation. I mean, that paints a picture.
You look around and you know up here that this hasn't changed in 100,000 years. It's the same, just gray. I don't want to talk about how many different shades, but
At least
you said that, I didn't.
at any point, were you afraid at all when you were up there?
No point in worrying about something that hasn't happened yet.
Nearly 5 decades later, 87-year-old Aldrin has remained an untiring advocate for human space exploration, influencing multi-generations of popular culture.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command.
From Toy Story's Buzz Lightyear
Star Command.
to MTV's Video Music Awards Moonman statue. The iconic picture that Neil Armstrong takes of you.
Yeah, so spontaneous. I was kind of walking toward the side of the spacecraft, and he was over here, and he said, hey, look.
And you can see,
visor.
at the visor, you can see, in a sense, Neil actually kind of took his, he took one of the first selfies.
No, mine, this is 69, mine was in 60.
Ah. Do you want to go to Mars?
No, what do you mean? I'm a dash man. I'm not a long distance outdoors man. But some people are, and we need them. They're called explorers.
But you're an explorer.
Well, yeah, I'm an explorer of numbers, circles, graphs.
Okay, would you go back to the moon?
I'm of more value right where I am.
Do you believe that there's life out there, other life out there?
If you use the word believe, you've got to back it up some kind of evidence.
One last thing. Are you a Star Trek or a Star Wars person?
Oh, I probably wasn't either, but somehow I got to being logical about what do we know and what do we not know.
Sounds like Spock to me.
Well, yeah, my ears are kind of round.
He's amazing, he really is. And sharp. I mean, in fact, gave me a great coat that I wear proudly, although if I can get it away from Leela. It's a NASA jacket.
Oh man, you're not allowed to accept that technically.
You see my dream vacation, another space station. through the procedures just described for us in their tiny spacecraft on top of this enormous rocket. They have about 160 cubic feet in there, which is about the size of the interior of a small automobile. But it is so carefully designed, they have packed into that small space a cockpit, an office, a laboratory, a radio station, a television station, a kitchen, a bedroom, a bathroom, and a living room. It is now, a little over 9 minutes to launch, and we'll be back in a moment.
During the 90 seconds that followed, the countdown, which began at 11 o'clock the night before, continued. But the real countdown to this momentous event began in 1961, when Yuri Gagarin's orbital flight dramatized as nothing else could the Soviet Union's superiority in space. President Kennedy responded with the declaration that Americans would walk on the moon before the decade was out. The voyage of Apollo 11 was the fulfillment of a promise and a dream.
2 minutes, 25 seconds and counting. We'll still go at this time. We'll be coming up in the automatic sequence about 10 or 15 seconds from this time. All still go at this time. Neil Armstrong reported back when he received the good wishes. Thank you very much. We know it will be a good flight. Firing command coming in now. We are on the automatic sequence. We're approaching the 3-minute mark in the count. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. T-minus 3. We are go with all elements of the mission at this time. We're on an automatic sequence as the master computer supervises hundreds of events occurring over these last few minutes. T-minus 2 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. The members of the launch team here in the control center monitoring a number of what we call redline values. These are tolerances we don't want to go above and below in temperatures and pressures. They're standing by to call out any deviations from our plans. 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. We're still go on Apollo 11 at this time. The vehicle is starting to pressurize as far as the propellant tanks are concerned, and all is still go as we monitor our status for it. 2 minutes, 10 seconds and counting. The target for the Apollo 11 astronauts, the moon at liftoff, will be at a distance of 218,096 miles away. We just passed the 2-minute mark in the countdown. T-minus 1 minute, 54 seconds and counting. Our status board indicates that the oxidizer tanks in the second and third stages now have pressurized. We continue to build up pressure in all 3 stages here at the last minute to prepare it for liftoff. T-minus 1 minute, 35 seconds on the Apollo mission, the flight to land of the first men on the moon. All indications coming in to the control center at this time indicate we are go. 1 minute, 25 seconds and counting. Our status board indicates the third stage completely pressurized. 80-second mark has now been passed. We'll go on full internal power at the 50-second mark in the countdown. Guidance system goes on internal at 17 seconds, leading up to the ignition sequence at 8.9 seconds. We're approaching the 60-second mark on the Apollo 11 mission. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We passed T-minus 60. 55 seconds and counting. Neil Armstrong just reported back. It's been a real smooth countdown. We passed the 50-second mark. Power transfer is complete. We're on internal power with the launch vehicle at this time. 40 seconds away from the Apollo 11 liftoff. All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still go with Apollo 11. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on proper heading.
asked me if during this performance we could have a bit of a quiz. I was wondering whether we'd have a team of boys against each other, but then I thought, what could be more fun than an interactive quiz with the whole audience? So let me just wander over here a minute. Just in case the people upstairs thought they would get away with it by sitting upstairs. Right, quiz, you're going to see some questions. There are 3 responses, A, B or C. Now for those folks who have been on the dance floor for the YMCA, you'll know a couple of these. If it's A, you're like this. Okay, if it's B, I had to make this one up, it's like this. And if it's C, it's like this. Okay, so we can all just stand up now and get to loosen ourselves up. Here we go. Right. Okay, we have to have a little bit of honesty here. So I want you to police the people around you. If you get it wrong, you sit down and that's it. Okay? If you get it right, you carry on. So I have no clue, and that's the fun of this, I have no clue how long this is going to last. I could be sitting down there after the first question, but I'm hoping we'll go at least a couple of questions. Here we go. I'm not sure now, Mrs. Lowe, which way I'm going to press this. That looks all right. Okay, here we go. A, B or C? The answer is C. A or B, sit down. Who was the first person into space? A, B, or C? Turning down these lights on this screen. Thank you. Okay, the answer is Neil. Yuri Gagarin. The sun is how far away from... Hey! One A's, one B's, one C's. All of those who are in the A position, stand up. Everyone else. Are found between the orbits of A, B, or C. The answer is A. Man-made object. Bubble. the moon is a proportion of planet Earth? Is it A, B, or C? How many votes? Hang about. How many votes we got? Here we go. Tell you what, all the people who are still in, come here, please. Come here. The diameter of the moon as a proportion of the Earth. So we know what the diameter is, the distance from one side through the centre to the other. Is it A, a half, B, a quarter, C, a sixth? Adopt the position. The answer is the winner! It's a packet of space food. Questions, so
to die in purple food. The treats I find the tastiest are purely purple food. I'll eat a purple burger, I'll slurp a purple shake, I'll feast on purple pickles and partake of purple cake. I'll nosh on purple noodles, I'll feast on purple fries. I'll feast on purple fries. I'll munch on purple macarons and purple pizza pies. I haven't seen your planet, but if I ever do, you'd better not wear purple. Otherwise, I might just dine on you.
By Liz Brownlee. Greetings from the Milky Way. See lots of suns this holiday. Thank you for comments and concerns on my album, Radiation Burns. The Big Dipper tour was great, real thrills. I'm glad I packed my space sick pills. Spacebook friends, I need advice. This galaxy tour was sold half price. Can I sue for startup being rude? When I mentioned wormholes in my food, I broke 3 legs on Mars while skiing. 3 more on Saturn's rings, sightseeing. Ring spins are fun, but I protest. I don't think they've been risk assessed. It was a rocky ride, alas, but the planet close up was a gas. Our black hole visit offers well, due to the lack of personnel. They say the alien that ran it disappeared with several planets. Today, a UFO Earth flight to give them all a nasty fright. I'm beaming back late afternoon. Update my status very soon. Till then, if you're in the video mood, see my channel on AlienTube.
We got there by space elevator. Space elevators with supersonic engines were even faster than the old-style rockets and are much more comfortable and exciting than airplanes, with their comfy seats and interactive screens, which you could use to teleport to anything you wanted to buy. The only disappointing thing about space elevators was that they were so fast, you weren't on them long enough before you reach your destination. Over the years, my favorite holiday island in space became Willigoon, a little planet 10 times smaller than the moon that had been discovered when the space elevator was built and was inhabited by alien sheep. Each sheep had 10,000 eyes, which meant that they were very good at protecting themselves from space predators. They looked very strange with their blue wool and orange tongues, but were very friendly and roamed peacefully on the sandy surface of the Willigoon. The only threat to this peaceful existence were the intergalactic robot sharks, the most dangerous predator of all. Swimming through the atmosphere, a robot shark could devour an alien sheep in one shot, ripping through their tough skin with their razor-sharp teeth. It was on my visit in 2050 when the greatest idea of my scientific career suddenly struck me. I'd grown to love Willigoon's odd but cute alien sheep, and one day, defending the sheep from a robot shark attack, I threw a plastic drink bottle at the shark and it seemed to like it. I threw another, and then another, and it gobbled them up enthusiastically. It seemed that the robot shark preferred the taste of plastic to the taste of sheep. I wondered whether robot sharks could survive on Earth. If they could, then they could all be captured and taken to Earth by space elevator, and you see that all the plastics are polluting the planet. And as an added bonus, this plan would also protect the alien sheep on Willigoon from the only real threat. So that is how it happened. That is how I used my love of science and nature to solve planet Earth's biggest problem, and why us humans have once again been able to enjoy the holiday islands of our childhoods. The end.
Testing. Shooting through the sky, hoping not to die. The cheek was my face, on the way to space. Into velocity, and George says my curiosity. There's no more gravity before I lose my sanity. Space is in a web. The space is real cool. Space in a web. Give me some rocket fuel. Running through the darkness in the dark of space. Looking through the window, I see no light in the cold running place. But wait, I see the aurora. It's hard to ignore her. In the beautiful Earth, the place in my foot, the flies past me in the way from the moon through an operation schoolroom. Space in a wreck. Space is real cool. Space in a wreck. Get me some rocket fuel. The steps on the moon are eternal to me. Laughing so hard and trying not to do a pee. Now I've come to the end of my small moon rap. Hopefully you've learned a bit about the zodiac. Space in a wrap. Space is real cool. Space in a wrap. Give me some rocket fuel. Space in a wrap. Space is real cool. Space in a wrap. Give me some rocket fuel.
much for coming to our space evening. Boys can take a seat now. It's now time to hand over to our resident astronomer. Now, there are not many schools who can say that they have a resident astronomer. So we're extremely lucky to welcome Linton Guys, who's going to talk us through what's going to happen next. Now, hopefully, the weather has improved while we've been in London.
Sorry, just before I'd like to say a big thank you to the music club, because as you all know, they do a lot in school. There's a whole programme of events they do. This one they really didn't have to do. This is a special one-off event, and I think it's fun. You can judge by the round of applause at the end. That's absolutely fabulous, so thank you very much. Excellent.
How can I possibly follow that? My only hope is this is going to be a lovely, clear sky evening with a beautiful moon, and you're going to come up to the observatory. We can actually inspire you with some sights with the telescope. When I cycled in, I could see the moon. Wow. But now, it's raining. Absolutely pouring down. So at the moment, prospects, I'm afraid, don't look good. But things can change in a moment, we found in astronomy. So if you'd like to enjoy a little bit of refreshment, if when you peek outside the building, there is a little gap in the clouds, you will all be very welcome up at the observatory. The team are up there. They've got 5 telescopes, probably all covered over with tarpaulins at the moment. We will have 5 telescopes. If there is a gap in the cloud, you can see the moon. You'll be very welcome, even if you only stay for a few minutes. There would be 2 options. You could either walk across the field, which might now be a little bit damp, or if you wanted to drive round, you can drive round to Pemberley Avenue, the gate to the observatory, right by Philpott's boarding house. Just follow the path up and you'll see us. The rain sounds like it's getting heavier. This is looking good. If it all fails tonight, please remember, autumn term, we have open nights on Wednesday night. If it's clear on a Wednesday night, come along to one of our open sessions and have a look at some of these objects through the telescopes, because you will be amazed. And I was lucky enough to go to a school that had an observatory a little bit more than 50 years ago. And it's that observatory and the Apollo rockets that got me interested in astronomy, and I'm still hooked now. And I'm sure some of you boys will get hooked as well. So I suggest we have a little drink and a space cookie, and then just see if this rain can possibly ease off. Well done again.